Oh, Jack, the beautiful game is slowly but surely coming to the end, and our generation is slowly but surely coming to the end of our football players. And sad, it's a bit of a sad day because football player has given me and you so much joy over the years as it has officially announced that he's retiring from professional football in Eden Hazard. And it's sad to say, I think he's 32, Jack, and what he's accomplished for him to be at this age and call it quits, especially difficulty. And we're not talking about 2008 or 2010. This is modern day football where players are as fit as hell with all the stuff. But with everything that's going on with him and Real Madrid, now I think a loss of, I think he just lost love of football. You can clearly see why. But it's just sad, and it just makes me look at everything, yeah, and think that raw, a generation that we had of Paul Pogba, Neymar, and Eden Hazard, and seeing where their careers are at today. Yeah, Neymar's 31 playing in Saudi Arabia, could still kill it, but he is in Saudi Arabia. Paul Pogba right now may never play football again after this ban stuff, and especially what's happened to his career in the last 2 years, all his injuries and all the manic in Manchester United. And Eden Hazard for the last 2-3 years, just since he joined Real Madrid, has been had an absolute horror show. And to think those three were to me, the guys and the ones that were going to lead the next generation to see where they are today it's sad. It really, really is sad. It just shows you that it's really hard to project the future. Because if I would have told you guys that this would have been them at this point of their career, you would have been like, nah. I'm talking Ballon d'Ors, World Cup. Big old Pogba did win a World Cup there, but it's a sad thing. But first of all, let me also big up Eden Hazard before we get into a little debate. We're gonna do a Salah, we're gonna do a Salah Hazard debate. But I just want to big up Eden Hazard first, and just I know he's retired, and it's sad to see what's happened the last few years. But in terms of viewing a football player, he's one of the greatest football players I've ever seen. Like sit down and watch live, Jack. I don't know about you, Jack, but how do you feel about Eden Hazard?
No, look, I agree with you, and I think that we're in an era of Dele Alli's, Jadon Sancho's, where we're really starting to care about player happiness and stuff. Now, listen, I'm a little old school. I think you're being paid 5-6 figures a week. You're playing a sport that probably billions with a B of people would kill to do. So I know mental health is super important, of course it is, and all this kind of stuff. But these are not injured war veterans we're dealing with here. These are the most privileged, living their best lives, playing a sport we all love for a hideous amount of money type people. But James, life happens. I don't know what's gone on behind closed doors for Eden Hazard. It's been an all-time drop-off in talent from the guy we saw throughout kind of the peak years of his career, obviously at the end for Lille there, and then throughout his time really at Chelsea, to then see what's happened to him at Real Madrid is just a shame. But again, I think there's something else going on there. My one thing I want to say, and I want to say this early before I forget about it, James, he could have very easily gone to a foreign league like Saudi Arabia and played just as well as he's been playing at Real Madrid and earned an absolutely hideous amount of money. So I actually give Eden Hazard, the man, a hell of a lot of credit for just hanging up his boots and going, that's not me anymore. And he's going to just move on to the next stage of his life. And I think you're right to commend the guy because, again, I mean, we'll get into it here going forward, but dribbling, ball control, use of his body. I mean, just purely in terms of use of his body, we might be talking about the all-time best player in terms of attacking body positioning. It's insane.
Jack, I'm glad you mentioned that because, guys, I'm a football coach and Eden Hazard is a reference point for me all the time when I'm working with kids. Guys, the way Eden Hazard uses body shape, all the stuff, attacking the weak side, he is genius in that. And I remember Yaya Toure talking about how big his bum and his bum's always in the way. He did that for a reason, yeah, because it is effective. Yeah, that bum is effective for a reason. And I remember the first time I heard about Eden Hazard, I was linked with Lille. And he was at Lille and he was linked heavily with Arsenal. And then, I don't know, I'm thinking he's going to join us. And then he joins Chelsea and it's like, ugh. And he rips us apart year after year. But let's get into this debate, Jack.
Yeah.
Eden Hazard versus Mohamed Salah. At their peak, Who is the better player, and who are you taking for your team? Jack, I'm gonna let you
Um,
start off.
I feel kind of bad here for Salah a little bit because I think Salah probably ticks more boxes for me that I like within footballers over the course of their careers. I think there's better consistency. I think he could probably, play maybe in more teams. There's a lot of things to like about Mo Salah's game. But the question you asked was at the peak of his powers. James, I don't know. Like, there are very few people who at the peak of their powers could do what Eden Hazard could do. I had two friends who I don't know if they ever got season tickets, but they were certainly members at Chelsea, and I went to a lot of games. I was lucky enough to see Roma Chelsea, where Dzeko scored that left-footed volley, but I was also, James, privileged enough to see some serious players because Chelsea have had some serious players. James, I was at the Battle of the Bridge, all these kinds of things. James, his ability to just pick the ball up from like the halfway line and just dribble through people and score is insane. Now, over the last, I'd say, year or two, we've seen some Mo Salah where you've gone, okay, there was no pass on, there was no right thing to do there. He's just created magic. Hazard did that all the time. And you know my thoughts on Salah. I think he was a benefactor of a fantastic system that suited him down to the ground. Hazard, James, it was just solo magic more often than not.
Jack, two players who did it in different ways. If we just sat there just looking at the stat sheet, Mo Salah blows Eden Hazard
Yeah.
out the water, especially when you go peak for peak. You can just look at the stats alone. Like his first season at Liverpool, 32 Premier League goals at the time. I know it was broken by Erling Haaland, but for a winger to do that and get the assist he has, like Jack, there was a year when he got top, he got top goal scorer and also top assist guy there. People will say Hazard hasn't really done that. Another thing that I take into consideration, Jack, when I look at the peak is what did they do at the highest level? Yeah, the World Cups, Hazard there, but Champions League, Jack. I remember, especially Mo Salah in that first season for Liverpool, Jack. Yeah, the games against Roma, the games against City. So many big moments, and he's coming up trumps in Europe's elite game, and that's something that Eden Hazard. When you look at his career, and because I often have to look at body work does matter. When I look at Eden Hazard's body work, he doesn't have that top level big Champions League moment at his peak. And that kind of docks him mark there. But
yeah,
you mentioned peak, and you talked what you just said there. The stats do matter, but I also have to see this.
Yeah,
both players could do things that were outstanding, and Mo Salah showed, Jack, in recent years he can, like the goal against City, incredible. But Eden Hazard had that bit of about him, that bit of
X factor. But also, James, you use the word prime, peak of their powers. You ask the question, you use those words. If we just take that out, I know you very well, you know me very well. What do we both like? We like consistency and we like consistent performers. You take that peak thing out, you take that at their best thing out, Salah's probably the clear winner because he's delivered for years in a couple of different systems now for a couple of different teams as well. So I think, it's just that finite little word change.
In longevity, but the only thing I'll hold with the longevity thing with me is that Eden Hazard also win the league with Lille and was the best player we had when he was like 21. While Mo Salah was great, where he was at like Basel, but France is one of the top leagues in the world and he's killing it there. He goes to Chelsea, I think in his first or second season, wins the PFA Young Player of the Year. So he's had a consistent long stretch, but I think when you look at like his time at Liverpool, I don't think he's ever had a drop off, while Eden Hazard had one or two drops off at Chelsea. So if we're looking at a body of work and a stretch, probably Mo Salah will take it.
Yeah.
You mentioned the word peak, and I tell you this, I need to see this, Jack.
Yeah.
I've seen Eden Hazard on the football field, and I've seen teams like Manchester United and Herrera. You don't worry about anything. Focus on him. Wherever he goes, you go. Right. If he goes down the tunnel, you're following him like him there too. I've seen this guy when
Jack to the urinal.
Exactly. You remember how many times Jose Mourinho did that? I've
Yeah.
seen, yeah, where the game is going nowhere, Jack. I mean, absolutely nowhere. And Eden Hazard picks the ball up wherever you want. What, Stamford Bridge, yeah, Anfield, wherever you want. Oh, like Old Trafford, and does something that makes you just come out of your seat. You know, I remember the goal he scores against Arsenal when he made Francis Coquelin do the spinneroonie. You know, the League Cup game against Chelsea, against Liverpool, where he picks it up, nutmegs the guy, shifts, smashes it into the goal. And it's not like Salah don't have them moments, but
No.
Hazard was it was on a consistent basis. And to me, it was this where Salah needed people around him. Well, Eden Hazard just felt that he could literally do it on his own, and it was something to behold. Like, there was another goal he scored for Chelsea against West Ham where he receives. I actually did a video on it where he receives it, turns. He does like this double in and out movements all in one goal. He's spanning and then he slots it into the goal with his left foot. And I'm just thinking there, like,
How?
that's not real. He
And how
made
does
Stamford Bridge's garden, Jack. You know,
and how does that Belgium team not have success with the players they've had for a long time, with that Spurs kind of back four centre back partnership, with De Bruyne, with Lukaku, with Moussa Dembele at a point as well. So yeah, look, and one thing I will say, you mentioned there about, and again, this is one of my biggest things. This is a hill I'm more than happy to die on because I have real confidence in my opinion on this. Yeah, Salah had a perfect purpose-built team for him. And again, you said, he was getting that record as a winger. You check his average heat map for that season. He is a central striker. Like, let's not. This was a setup perfect for Mo Salah. Hazard didn't quite have that. He didn't play with bad players. Chelsea during Hazard's career had terrific players, terrific managers, great successes, Europa league title and stuff. But James, Salah, I think, has landed on his feet, whereas Hazard could just be in like I don't know what the hell's going on here. He has some magic, wins a game.
And Jack, you mentioned like just the longevity and everything like that, and I think one of the biggest testaments that I can give to a player like Mo Salah to me is his ability to keep himself fit and ready to go. And I think him being a Muslim plays a big part, like in that, and wanting to be the best. While Eden Hazard, I remember when he first joined Real Madrid and he said, I like to enjoy myself. You're coming to Real Madrid and like you bring up something like you're coming to enjoy yourself. When like they're used to a player like Cristiano Ronaldo coming in there ready to go, like he's coming in there 3 hours early before everybody else even arrives in there. So the difference in mentality was there, but Eden Hazard was just a pure. You know how basketball players go, he's a hooper. Kevin Durant, he's a hooper.
Right.
Eden Hazard was what you call a baller.
Hooper or
just
baller.
played
Yeah.
football. All Jack, not all the physical stuff in the gym. He just played football. And when he did play football, in my opinion, in a lot of people's opinion, it was something to behold.
Yeah.
What's a football player?
You know? He had spells where he was a top 5 player in the world, I think, easily.
Top 3, in fact. I remember the run in 2015 where Chelsea went complete defensive coming to the end of the season, and it was just Eden Hazard by himself just dragging Chelsea through the mud just to get them a 1-0 win, just
also very quickly, just to to his credit, ask any teammate of Eden Hazard, any of them, any coach, any manager, good guy. I know that doesn't necessarily translate to good skills on a football pitch or whatnot, but I think it is a cherry on top for a lot of people. I don't believe in his history anybody's had a bad word to say about him. Maybe people in the comments can correct me, but no incidents of he's done this wrong or he's done that wrong or he's been in trouble. Just a good dude. And again, like you said, James, just a baller. And, we'll be on X or Twitter or Instagram or whatever in 10 years' time. And I guarantee you there'll be some sort of highlight will pop up of an Eden Hazard goal. And I'm going to watch it and, it's going to make me feel kind of way.
Guys, I've been down memory lane here just talking about everything. But again, this is not to discredit Mo Salah, because probably as a career, taking Mo Salah's career overall, but in terms of view of the word peak, as people like to say, I'm not the greatest fan of it, but when he was there, Eden Hazard was just special. Two incredible players there. Sad to see Eden Hazard go out. Hopefully Mo Salah can give us many more years of his absolute genius there. But guys, You tell me, yeah? And Hazard at his peak, Mo Salah at his peak. Comment down below. Let us know. This is Box to Box Football, and we will see you next time.